New at 5, two deputies are getting life-saving awards for saving a couple from their dog. The Volusia County Sheriff's Office says the dog started attacking and mauling the couple on Mother's Day weekend.
Yeah, deputies got there just in time, too. And today, those deputies and the couple reunited. News 6's Molly Reed was there.
It's a moment that almost couldn't happen. Darylyn Warner and her partner Chad Bunfill are recovering with a long road ahead, but are alive thanks to these two deputies.
Very physically strong with pushing through things, but mentally I'm shattered.
The couple adopted their first dog ever, Harley, in early April.
Even around all the other animals, all the other people, never had a problem.
Yeah. Kids. No problem with kids.
6 weeks later, on Mother's Day, Warner says she cut her hand. Her neighbor came over to help her clean it up. Harley became aggressive.
And all of a sudden I just felt this stinging. And I just looked down and it was him and he was doing his head back and forth.
The dog ripped Warner's calf off.
He finally laid down on the floor.
All right, welcome back. Now you see the title of the stream. This dog that they adopted was a shelter dog. They told you they got it in April. How long ago was that? Was that 2 months ago? It's a shelter mutt. Now, of course I believe that all shelter dogs should be euthanized. I believe all pet dogs should be euthanized as well, along with all stray dogs and every other type of dog on the planet. But I'm saying specifically shelter dogs because, according to their own experts, they should be euthanized. I'm not the one who's reached this conclusion. They reached the conclusion for us, and they are the ones who gave the scientific explanation as to why. So my question is, why haven't they been euthanized already? That's the most ridiculous part of dog culture, dog shelters. The home where they're mostly fighting dogs, and you don't know the history of any of them. You don't know what they've been through. And here your experts telling you that trauma trumps training. You might have seen the 3 T's on the thumbnail. Trauma trumps training. The best thing you could do for a dog to rehabilitate it is to train it. But whatever trauma it went through earlier in its life, it will trump your training if it's triggered. So it's almost guaranteed the thing's going to launch, it's going to attack somebody. And they should be illegal to adopt.
Ripped Warner's calf off.
He finally laid down on the floor.
Now, did y'all hear? I want y'all to pay attention to how fast people make their problem other people's problem. How fast it goes from only these two people being in danger to several people being in danger. And it all starts with the acquisition of these turd-faced monsters. Now I'm going to rewind this a little bit and unpack this.
Almost couldn't happen. Darylyn Warner and her partner Chad Bunfill are recovering with a long road ahead, but are alive thanks to these two deputies.
Very physically strong.
And I want to emphasize something else too. Again, you should not be allowed to call the police if you're under attack by your own dog. You should be left to deal with it yourself. You strategically put yourself in that situation, get yourself out. And with me especially, I see you getting eaten up by your own dog, I'm gonna act like I didn't see nothing. Y'all should not be allowed to call 911 or anyone to come help you, to come put their life in danger to help you.
Wrong with pushing through things, but mentally I'm shattered.
The couple adopted their first dog ever.
And notice how they never mention dogs. And they do this after each attack. The attack victims never mention whether or not they're going to be fans of dogs in the future.
Harley in early April.
Even around all the other animals, all the other people, never had a problem.
So this couple went and got a full-grown dog from a shelter that they did not know the history of, and they started to bring it around other people and other people's kids, according to their own testimony. See how quickly more than just 2 people are in danger now? These people are lunatics. They should not be allowed to endanger communities like this. These nutters should not be allowed to even adopt these things. If they come from, you should only be allowed to own a dog if you raised it from a puppy, period. Based on y'all's logic. This is not me.
Ever. Harley in early April.
Even around all the other animals, all the other people, never had a problem.
Yeah. Kids, no problem with kids.
Oh, goodness gracious. Understand. You heard what she said, right? It would not surprise me if she were a classroom teacher and she brought that dog that she just got 6 weeks ago or whatever into her classroom as a therapy dog. And that's exactly how it happens. Another teacher will go to a shelter, get a dog, and bring it in as a shelter mutt. That's how much danger your kids are in while they're at school.
6 weeks later, on Mother's Day, Warner says she cut her hand. Her neighbor came over to help her clean it up. Harley became aggressive.
And all of a sudden I just felt this.
Now, y'all heard that. Right before the attack, she cut herself. So blood was in the air. The dog could smell the blood. And it attacked her. Why do you think it attacked her? Do you think it was because she was the one that was bleeding? The neighbor came in the house at that moment. Why didn't it attack the neighbor? Why did it attack the lady that it lives with, been getting fed by? I suspect it attacked her because she was bleeding. She smelled like blood. Figure since you're bleeding, might as well finish you off. And I mentioned with the members, keep in mind how dumb these things are. Why do they always attack their owners? What is their plan? How do they plan on getting food after they have deleted the only people that's been feeding them? These creatures are dumb, very dumb.
Stinging, and I just looked down and it was him, and he was doing his head back and forth.
The dog ripped Warner's calf off.
He finally laid down on the floor to get Harley's attention, and that's when I was able to crawl to the cage.
Warner crawling into the dog's cage to lock herself away, Bunfill being mauled, the neighbors running out and calling 911.
He's currently mauling people.
Deputies Justin De La Rosa and Tyler.
You see what the neighbor did? That's what I'll do. I hear you screaming. I'll call the cops for you. Right? That's easy and safe. And I'm going to wait for the cops. As you're screaming and being mauled, just like this neighbor did, Don't try to project me as the bad guy. This guy did the exact same thing I do. Like, get on the phone. Hey, somebody getting attacked. And then when a cop gets there, I'll point in that direction. They're right over there in that house. You see how far he is from the house, don't you? He ain't hanging around the front door. He's far away. Like, hey, cops. All right. Thank you, sir.
Deputies
Thank you for representing.
Justin De La Rosa and Tyler Blackwell ran into the couple's house.
And all I see is Deputy De La Rosa's eyes, and we locked eyes, and I knew they were there to save us.
She said she locked eyes with the cops, and she knew that they were there to save them. Listen to that. Listen to how entitled of a statement that is. Yeah, but you don't deserve to have anyone show up like a superhero to save you. You didn't deserve it. Before this attack, you two were putting numerous people in danger. Numerous people. And this attack proves that everybody you exposed to that dog, you endangered them. Because it proves that you two never had control over the thing. Never. You yourselves needed help and were in danger. That's what this proves. Neither of you were able to stop it. And you had a gun in the home. Wasn't even competent enough to know where the gun is, to have easy and quick access to the gun. The cop had to come in and shoot it.
The dog began to charge us, and at that point we had limited options.
I did see Harley get shot.
It's a moment ingrained in each of their minds.
My dog's like my son, and it's not easy. It carries the same weight as any sort of life.
Carries the same weight as any sort of life. Okay, but no, it doesn't. What are you talking about? That was easy. What are you talking? Stop lying. It was easy for you to shoot that dog in that moment. Stop lying. You gladly pulled that trigger. And you was relieved after you saw that it was hit and neutralized. Give me that. Sick of people being dishonest just to say something politically correct. Oh, it's hard. Just like any other life. You're lying. You'd be a lot more disturbed right now had you shot somebody's youngster. Probably wouldn't be doing this interview. You'd probably be in a psych ward talking to a therapist. Worthless mutt. And y'all gonna admit to how worthless they are. They're useless, counterproductive lives. Dog lives don't matter. And let me take that back. They do matter when they are deleted, when their lives no longer exist. And stuff like this ain't happening. Could have been the neighbor. Remember, the neighbor was in the house at the time. And quite often, it's neighbors getting attacked. You gotta stay out of these people's homes.
It carries the same weight as any sort of life.
My only problem is with PTSD.
Oh, PTSD. Now you want to tell us how traumatized you are. You should have thought of that before you went and got this dog. And I don't believe that this was the first dog that they have ever owned. Do y'all know that that's what they said? They said that this dog was the first dog they've ever owned. I just don't believe that. Your first dog, you're usually thinking in terms of getting it as a puppy. If you ask my opinion, That's the first thing that pops into people's head when you're talking about their very first pet. Getting a fully grown dog from a shelter, that's something that people with more experience do. That's what I am assuming. But I don't know. I hope the general public is not that dumb, where the majority of you go straight to a shelter and get a fully grown dog you don't know the history of. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, believing that. Please don't prove me wrong.
I would wake up at night screaming.
Okay, now it should be a rule to ask these people exactly their thoughts on dogs after this happened. Are you going to continue to be a dog owner and surround yourself with dogs? Simple question. Because if they are, that should disable their GoFundMe if they have one.
In the hospital 9 days. He was in the hospital a little bit over 2 weeks.
And it's been an adjustment.
You see that? All of the people who was around this couple with that dog, you were in danger the whole time. And the same goes for everyone else, especially up in these schools and hospitals where you're hauling dogs on the unsuspecting people, not even expecting no dog to be brought into the home or the establishment. Y'all really out of your minds. You should not have the privilege to call Superman, which that's basically what it is. These goofy nutters start getting attacked by their personal dog, some mutt that they acquired somewhere. When they call 911, they're looking at that cop as a superhero because they're going to save their life. Oh, please. Oh, Harley. And also, what happened? Like I said with the members, what happened after she called the dog's name? I know she called its name. Dog lovers, attacks like this prove how inhumane these things are, how unloving they are. She was getting attacked and calling this thing by its name the whole time. Harley, no, Harley, don't, it's me, Harley. It didn't work. It didn't work. Harley heard her and Harley kept munching. Had a mouthful of calf muscle and wanted more. No, Harley, no, Harley. What's wrong, Harley? Dog did not cease attack, proving how much they don't care about none of you. And all you other dog lovers, your dog thinks the exact same way about you. Go ahead and cut yourself. Go and cut yourself like this lady did. See how that dog munched down on you and see if it stopped. As soon as a little blood trickle out your body and it tastes it, it's going to keep attacking you. It don't even care that you're not going to be able to feed them anymore because they're just that dumb. They live in the moment, just like several people have pointed out several times. And they deserve nothing from us but euthanasia. They've killed too many people already. They've mutilated too many people already. And when the people I'm talking about are the unsuspecting people, not the nutters themselves who acquired it. These grown nutters. You're on your own. You got what you deserve. But it still shouldn't have happened because you shouldn't have been given the opportunity to endanger other people like that. They don't deserve nothing from us but euthanasia. Had this lady euthanized that worthless mutt, let's say she adopted it and then the very next day she took it back and requested it to be put down, this would have never happened. Why are y'all out here adopting dogs? Let those mutants rot in those shelters. What is wrong with y'all? Let them rot in those shelters. Y'all are totally out of your mind when your own experts are sitting out here telling you that if the dog went through anything traumatic in its past, it could attack you at any moment for no reason, regardless of how much you've trained it. Training seen as the cream of the crop. That's the one way to reprogram a dog. That don't even work. Y'all still going out here acquiring these things. And it's showing how bright you are not. Y'all not even ashamed of looking so dumb. I was telling members a few hours ago, people are getting dumber. Brains are getting more and more fried. I don't know what's going on, but the brain deadness, the zombie mentality is spreading like wildfire, and y'all need to snap out of it. It's as simple as that. I don't know what y'all smoking on, what kind of crack y'all sniffing, but you need to pump the brakes for real. Now, there's another story. Before I get to that, did y'all hear about this deer that's patrolling this cemetery? And it is stomping out every dog that it sees. I want y'all to be aware of this story, this miraculous story. This is nature recruiting crusaders for us. And thank you very much. Making my job a whole lot easier. So this deer, they're warning people about this deer hanging around this cemetery. Laramie Cemetery, I don't know where this is, but shout out to you. Warns the public about an aggressive deer that attacks. This deer is fed up. This deer is awake. It has figured it out. These worthless mutants should not be here. And I love it. Don't y'all bother that deer. I don't want to hear about nothing happening to no deer nowhere in that whole state. Shout out to the deer. I mean, as soon as the deer sees worthless mutts, it goes straight after them. Just like they do when they see your youngsters. Go straight at and stomps them out. You got my approval, reindeer. Now I want to deal with this with accountability. We got to deal with accountability. I mentioned with the members, and I need to pay more attention to this. You dog owners, y'all need to hold yourselves more accountable. Stop being so immature and childish. I want y'all to listen to this story. This mother dropped her 5-month-old off. He was attacked. She takes no responsibility. Of course, as we all know, we've seen this several times, but listen to this.
Case in the coming days. After that, they'll decide if the babysitter will face charges.
She deserves to pay some consequences for what she allowed happen to my son. It's not as simple as the dog bit him and she controlled the situation. No, the dog was eating my son before she got to him.
In your mind, there is no doubt that this was a child neglect situation on that.
She said it was child neglect. She dropped her child off. Dropped her child and left, knowing the dog was there. So she expected this female babysitter to see the attack and I guess stop it before it could possibly happen. And she's totally holding the babysitter accountable.
Absolutely.
I called the Decatur County Animal Control Director to find out what happened to the dog involved in this attack, but I haven't gotten a call back yet.
I mean, you cannot make this up. You go drop your 5-month-old off at a babysitter, and what is with these babysitters thinking that they need a dog? This is a strong narrative, I believe, in dog culture. They think dogs and youngsters go together. Yeah, so babysitters, it's the thing for them to have dogs inside the home. Y'all remember the lady with the Rottweiler, Cane Corsos, who was a babysitter and had been known in the community as a babysitter, and she kept 2 Cane Corsos in the house. These people think dogs and youngsters go together when youngsters are literally prey. literally prey in the eyes of these mutants. Y'all truly out of your minds. Now, I know some dog lovers tune in because they think I'm controversial. They think I'm just doing something for views. You have no idea how many things I could do for views. This is not the first channel I've ever created. I could have stuck to dealing with several things, and I have. It's not the only thing I talk about right now. But see, I know this is good work. This is good, solid work, because the system is failing. The professionals and really law enforcement, of course, animal control, and there is no animal control. Dog culture in general is a huge failure in the system that nobody's paying attention to, and you all know it, and we need to pay attention to it. But I got more news than I got time to share. But I'm going to come back to this subject probably this weekend. It's so crucial that they be held to the standard, their own standard. Every single professional that I've heard speak has said that if the dog has, it's between, I think, 4 to 12 weeks or something like that. It's an age range that the dog it's young. And if it experiences any trauma during that time, it could attack anyone in the future, no matter how nice you are, no matter how good of a training the dog has had. And remember, in some of these shelters, they will get an aggressive dog, maybe a dog that has attacked someone, and they'll send that dog out to get special training to rehabilitate it, which is why dog attacks have risen, more than quadrupled at this point, at least since 2000. That's another thing I need people to keep close in mind at all times. The reason dog attacks have skyrocketed is because of situations like this. The second chance, failing to euthanize these things after the very first display of aggression, a bunch of people thinking love, basically humanizing these things, thinking love can change them, right? What are y'all thinking? Thinking human love can counter breeding, a whole breeding process that took several generations, really? I'm disturbed, people, by the brain deadness of people in general nowadays. What is going on? Is it the drugs? I know they got these new drugs, the fentanyl. They got candy drugs now. They got all kinds of drugs. People drinking cough syrup. Your brains ain't working right, man. How can your professionals be sitting here telling y'all to be careful with dogs exactly like this that came from a shelter you don't know the history of? How many times have for years, it's all over the internet. And y'all still acquiring them, being surprised after they bite your calf off. Good luck to you. And shout out to all of you. I really shouldn't have went live, but I had nothing else to do and I had a few minutes. And I wanted to talk about this. It is bad right now, people. Be on high alert. It's the end of June, and I'm seeing dogs. Every time I look outside, I'm seeing nutters walking the dog somewhere. Be on high alert. Don't be too close to no corners. And if anything goes down, please try to record it and send it to me. Shout out to all of you able to join me for this live stream. And I hope you can join me on the next as we continue with this crusade.